Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 9450. This is the Epic Dragon Battle from the second Rise of the Snakes wave in 2012. There was the whole, first wave that had all the serpentine staffs and everything, and then there was the summer wave, which had only 4 sets, this being the largest of them, that introduced the Venomarian Constricti, as well as had the Fang Blades, 1 in each set. And this was also the first set that included the Green Ninja, and was also where the identity of the Green Ninja was leaked. But the Green Ninja was then quickly re-released also in a spinner set, but that one was kind of hard to find. But anyway, I was just going through and, dusting this and cleaning this off so that I could pack it up. But I figured I might as well take a look at it for you and, show off all of the little details here. And then I think before I put this set away for a while, I'll do a comparison between this and the new Legacy Ultra Dragon set number 70679 that just came out in 2019. So, let's take a look at everything here. So this is a pretty big set containing 915 pieces, 7 minifigures, $120, and the largest part is the Ultra Dragon here, but it's not, the entirety of the build. The other 2 side builds here are pretty substantial as well. So this probably takes up 500, 600 pieces, around there approximately. It's probably a little bit on the lower side there, but it does have several really large pieces. Like these wings are made up of some pretty large parts, and the heads obviously are all, for the most part 2 pieces each. But it's a pretty respectably sized dragon as far as dragons go. And the first thing you'll notice here from the side is it's got a lot of black in the color scheme here. The dragon from the show, at least, had a lot of white. It was mostly white and scaly. And I feel like they don't capture that super well with this original version of the Ultra Dragon. I just feel like the color scheme here of the body is a little weird. Of course, most of the time, you'll be seeing it like this, and look at that, his bottom jaw fell off. I was going to talk about that later, but I guess we can talk about it now, because these rubber bottom jaws on my copy always want to fall down and break off. But we'll look at those in a second. But, the wings here are respectable. I like the design. They're very striking and make this set recognizable, even if they don't look perfectly like they do in the show. These trans green wedge plate things are actually exclusive to the set, and you do get a decent amount of them here, so interesting part. Also, these longer wing pieces appear in only 5 sets, first being the Ice Dragon from 2011, and these smaller ones are only in 3 sets, so it's a lot of relatively uncommon pieces. You do have the little hands here, which, do have the articulatable fingers, but they really can't hold on to anything super convincingly. You can sort of maybe attempt to squeeze a snake in here, but, it's not that easy. And if you do, it's not like you can see him. He'd have to be squished up behind the wing. So, I don't know. I guess, having the claws represented is kind of cool, but it's not super duper effective. But, it is what it is. And in the back we have the tail, which you can swing from side to side. It does not have one of those gear things so that you can, manually or sort of automatically control the swinging. But it does swing side to side, and you can get some good action just going like that. Again, these are cool pieces as well, and you can angle them up and down. You can't angle these ones any further down because of the pieces that they're attached to, but can be angled all around. Got some Sensei Wu hats on the back legs, but the back legs have no articulation. You can articulate the feet, they're on a ball joint, and the front legs Can't be rotated up there, but they do have a ball joint here and a ball joint down at the bottom, and that's how that works. Up front, you have just a very simple seat for Lloyd, and he just stands there. And I do like the fact that they kind of build up the cockpit a little, or the saddle a little bit, by using these rifle pieces. That's kind of cool and a good look. This piece here is really uncommon, only otherwise appearing in a cargo train. And you have two stickers here. I think those are the only stickers used on the entire dragon itself. And this handle allows you to pick it up. So normally this is how it would stand, and you'd pick it up and it would fly. And you can sort of use that to get a little bit of wing flapping motion in the air. It's kind of cool and a decent feature. It's a little bit hard to pull off because it does, take up a little bit of space. It's a little bit hard to pull off effectively in this video, and I can't get the whole wingspan in there. But it works somewhat effectively. And the heads for all the dragons are pretty cool. They do have the head placements swapped, I believe. Wisp and Flame are swapped, but it could be Shard and Flame. I think the Fire Dragon's supposed to go on the outside though. But the two on the outside have this ball shooter sort of thing built into the heads, and you just push the mouths down closed, and kind of will eventually shoot off. It doesn't work super well, and it sort of helps drive these bottom jaws to fall off, so I'm not going to do it any more than that. But that's a feature built into the outside edges, the two heads on the outside, and then the two heads on the inside are just static, and Rocky uses a different mold that they used for the Earth Dragon, and the other three all use the same mold. And the printing on all of them is good, fine, and nice, but again, I don't want to mess around with them. They are also all on ball joints, but I don't want to mess around with them too much, or the bottom jaws will just keep falling off forever. So that's this is what we got here. And there's just a quick look at the back of the wings. In addition to the dragon, we have this really sort of substantial little side Ouroboros build, and this isn't directly based on anything in the show. There's no exact specific location that this is, but it's kind of cool looking and definitely evokes those Ouroboros vibes. These pieces here, the inner corner slopes, are relatively uncommon, only otherwise appearing in the Roby house, and these prints up here are cool to get. Also, this dish up here is pretty uncommon as well. You can't really see that super well, but it's a good looking thing. I like the design up here at the top where they have the little snake statue going into the sculpture of Venom, or the fountain of venom, and then we've got these stickers here, which I guess younger me could have aligned those a little bit better so that there was less of a gap. But just going down a little, I like the use of these butterfly swords. Those are pretty uncommon pieces at the time, and I think this was the first time I'd gotten them. Then we do have these little snake heads, which I like the way that they just drip the venom down. It looks really good, and those are nice prints. They were otherwise available in the Venomari Shrine, which is a cheap set, so it's not the easiest way to get them, but it is cool. And then down here we have this little prison, which the door opens up pretty effectively. I don't like the spider placement. That's where the instructions tell you to put them, but I personally would move it to somewhere down here, just because it likes to get in the way of this door opening, which the door opens somewhat effectively. Sometimes it'll want to move up and down on the sides and won't open perfectly. But inside there we have a single sticker on the inner door, just showing the tally marks of however long this person has been in there. And if we want to stick Jay inside the prison for a little while, we can capture him. We'll come back to why he's in there in a little bit. But just looking around the side of the prison, it's covered up pretty well. I like the building techniques here using the bricks. It works pretty well. This little area on the bottom turns around. We'll see that again in a second. But up here in the front, we have this bridge, and you do use these arches to actually get it on the ground. And as you saw in the very opening of this review that is actually tall enough for the tail sections of the Great Devourer to fit underneath. So you can kind of create a little bit of a decent display with that. But obviously you can't fit the whole Great Devourer underneath because of the build of the head in the set. And this bridge is just like the surface of the bridge is done really simply, just folding a plate down. But I like the red rockwork. Spider again is cool. And turning to the back, it doesn't look too great, but we do have this little rockwork area which you can fold backwards if you're going to be looking at it from the back. That definitely helps improve it. And you got a little window into the prison, and just looking all the way up at the back, it's kind of whatever. But we have this little trash can here, which actually has inside of it some venom studs, and you can just do that and dump them in on the prisoner, and really has very little visual effect from the front. It's nothing big and impressive, but it is accomplished via the addition of 4 pieces. So it's a reasonable amount of fun. And let's show you from the front here. You can just see a little bit of venom, barely dripping on top of him. And last up is the Great Devourer, and it's a decent looking thing, I guess. Sort of imposing, and sort of gets the snake thing across. You can turn the whole base of it around, make it look like a snake. You can kind of move sections up and down too. It can stand on just that this base section. But the ball joint is not strong enough to support the weight of the whole tail, so you really can't make it happen. But if this ball joint was strong enough, then you would be able to have the whole tail up in the air. And the base of the snake is kind of whatever. It's a little bit weird from a back angle because it's got some undersides of plates and stuff, and it doesn't look too perfect. But the stickers on the sides are nice. This doesn't look quite like it does in the show at all. If you're going just based on show accuracy, it's not that great. Maybe it would be nice to get a legacy version of the Great Devourer in the future. That could be kind of cool. But the one big feature of this is that you could open its mouth just by pushing it up here. There's a hinge here, and you can actually eat a ninja because it uses one of these rock pieces as the bottom jaw, so that it's basically a panel and has enough space to fit something inside. And now it has been eaten. And I like the fangs here. We got the weak spot up here on the little whatever that kind of piece is, and then you have a couple of other stickers up here on the top of the head. And the shaping of the top of the head is kind of cool, but the overall color scheme and design of this Great Devourer is not super show accurate. And it's fine for a representation of a Great Devourer, so that kids have something to play with and defeat, but further than that, doesn't have too much to offer. First up for figures, we have Wu and Jay ZX, and this version of Wu appeared in a couple sets, including Destiny's Bounty from that year. I think he might have had a spinner, but he also was in the Temple of Light the year after. I think maybe with a different color hat, but it's a pretty decent figure. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with either, but they just aren't exclusive, so not the most interesting of all of them. The front printing on them is good, and there is a little bit of back printing on both. If we remove Jay's armor and Wu's beard while we're at it, we'll see the back printing and the additional face print and torso printing on Wu. Jay has his original facial expression, and they didn't have alternate faces back then. And Lloyd ZX, getting him in this set was a treat. It's really nice to see him here. In the show, he did not grow up to be this height by the end of the first season. So it's a little bit inaccurate in that way, but this figure did sort of count as a stand-in for the first half of season 2, where he's not, where they haven't left for the Stone Army stuff yet. So it's like, really, this figure only really existed in universe from Wrong Place, Wrong Time, or from Child's Play to the Untold, or was the episode called The Stone Army, where they're in the museum. But it was only around for a couple episodes, but the torso print and mask are still accurate, obviously. Lloyd did have 2 faces back then, So he had his smiling expression and his scared one, and that's because they also used both those expressions when he was a little kid in the sets. And, you know, he does have a little bit of back printing on his torso, and, you know, pretty good look overall. Yeah, I like this figure a lot, and it was cool to get here. And then we have Chokun, who is in this set, and additionally also in Spinner starter set with NRG Kai. You know, he's a fine figure. You know, one of the different Constricti characters, and you know, I think all of the Serpentine figures were done really well in this first, or I guess first year of Serpentine sets, and no, this guy's no exception. He's nothing crazy special, but he's got good torso printing and a nice head mold. It looks good and has some shiny silver reflective paint on there, and yeah, good figure. Short legs though. Then we have Lord Garmadon, and this particular version of him only appeared in this set and the Destiny's Bounty from 2012. But in this set he has all the golden weapons, and you know, it's a good looking figure. My particular version, actually, the helmet broke and I had to glue it together, but you can barely see it, so you know, still works fine for this review. And the face print on him is good. The helmet is cool. It's in this gunmetal gray, which is a rare color for that. You know, I think it only appeared on Garmadon and Samurai X from 2012, and then they started using black ones when they did Legacy. But the face print is good. He does have this upper torso part, which was only ever used for the 2012 Garmadons and some random tall foot soldier from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But, you know, it's good, also in gunmetal gray. And then he has the torso print, and, you know, that was good. I think that was exclusive to 2012 Garmadon too. The legs definitely were. The torso might be the same as 2011. I don't remember. I thought he had dark blue back then, though. Or I'm confusing myself with Legacy. I don't know. But, you know, overall, a good figure, and cool to get all the golden weapons in one set for anyone who didn't have any others. And now we're getting into the really desirable figures of the set, and we have Acidicus here, the leader of the Venomari tribe, and he's a cool figure to get here. He does come with the Hypnobrai Fangblade in this set, which just has a Hypnobrai logo on the bottom, and, you know, would have been nice to just get the Venomari staff, but that does appear in other sets, and you can just take that and give it to him if you have one of the others. The torso is good. The tail printing is really, really sharp and crisp, and you know, almost looks better than the torso print, but you know, it worked together pretty well. And he does have a little bit of printing on the back of his torso as well. A little bit of that is covered up by his head mold, which is the same as Lazaru's. It has good printing on the top and, you know, on the sides, and for the teeth, and for the other side where he has one of his eyes missing, sort of, I think, or well, one of them is partially missing, I guess. I don't know. It's a little bit weird because it almost looks like he has two eyes on this side, but one of them is smaller than the other, which is just strange. But it's a good look overall, and I like this figure. He's also one of the more expensive figures from that year. Not the most expensive, but he's relatively uncommon because he only came in the set, and the set was expensive. And then we have Skeletor, or I mean Skeletor is what I meant, yeah. And he's a good figure. He definitely, you know, has a lot going for him, being, you know, exclusive to this set. And he does have this weird little battle axe thing, which has black axe blades, which are uncommon, very much so, only appearing in several sets. And that's an axe spear, so, you know, 2-in-1 weapon. And his, you know, leg print and torso print are pretty good. Again, the printing on these tails is really sharp and well done. His head is the same mold as Baitar's, but has different printing, so is exclusive to this figure. And that looks good. And his torso print also looks good with that little bit of metallic printing on that one little scale or armor piece or something, whatever it is. But yeah, it's a good looking figure, and another one exclusive to this set, also very desirable. Overall, this set had a lot going for it, and I did like it a lot way back when. I do think that the dragon heads here, you know, I used to be a big fan of the just molded dragon heads, but this set kind of helped me get on board with the brick built ones, because it bothers me so much at how loose these bottom jaws are, at least especially my copy of this bottom jaw right here specifically does not want to stay at all, no matter what you do. Like if I touch it, it will probably fall off. Ooh, maybe not yet, but it's gonna fall off before the end of this segment, most likely. And it already fell off several times throughout the video, so, you know, overall though, I do think that this is a pretty good set. The figures, you know, were a huge draw, and I think they still remain that way. Acidicus and Skeletor especially, you know, it's really cool to get them. The Great Devourer is not great, but, you know, it's a cool thing that you're going to want to get, even though it doesn't look like it's supposed to. Like, you know, as a kid, you want to have a Great Devourer to attack after watching the first season of Ninjago. You know, for, you know, people who are nostalgic for that, you know, you probably still won't hate this, and anyone who had this set as a kid will probably still really appreciate it. But, you know, just as a, you know, as a teen or an adult, it doesn't look that great compared to the show, and, you know, the build for it is just kind of fine. This actually is a pleasant surprise, this little Ouroboros city build. You know, it's pretty good looking for what it is, and, you know, the dragon is, you know, the heads are cool when they work, but, you know, further than that, this, like, just looking back at it, this dragon build is not as great compared to the show as, you know, you'd think off the top of your head. It's, the body of it just does not look all that great, and, you know, the heads are the best looking part, but when you consider the fact that they don't want to stay together, that, you know, kind of turns me off, and I think I would have a hard time recommending this for $120 nowadays, knowing what I do about the heads. Back then, just as a Lego set, not basing it off show accuracy, I think you do get a decent amount of stuff for the price point, but, you know, and I think that a kid buying it for $120, or buying it for a kid for $120, back when it was out, I think would have been reasonable, and this would have been, like, a cool, big gift to give them, because, you know, they've got the dragon, they've got the Great Devourer, they can definitely have an epic dragon battle there, and, you know, they'll love the figures and everything, but, you know, just, based on the value of the parts and, you know, everything, I don't think that this would have been a must-get if it weren't for the exclusive figures. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. I will be doing a comparison to the Legacy version very soon, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.